Good evening, everybody. This is Stephen Howson, and that didn't take the image off, did it? How silly was that? Haha! Anyway, good evening, everybody. This is Stephen Howson. This is my Snapchat Q&A. Click the wrong button then. Pardon me. So thank you to everybody who sent in a snap. If you don't know what my Snapchat address is, it's right here. Mr. Stephen Howson on Snapchat. It's Mr. Stephen Howson on everything. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Bebo, I don't know, MySpace, everything. So if you want to follow me elsewhere, and I do different stuff on different places actually as well, so if you want to follow me elsewhere, then Mr. Stephen Howson on everything. But everyone who sent me in a snap, if you're thinking you want to send me in a snap now, it's closed. I only can open it for a little window now because this is getting absolutely massive and I love it, but it's getting really hard to manage. I can only leave it open now for like 20 minutes. So if you got me one in that time, sweet. If not, it'll probably show you as pending or something like that. Somebody's saying the audio's out of sync. It fucking would be, wouldn't it? We've had an absolute nightmare. It shouldn't be. This is the same thing that we go on all the time. Let me just check. Nah, it works fine on my end. So, sorry, it's something at your ends, unfortunately, fellas. Right, okay, so we're going to go with the first ones that we've got of the day. Let's find them. As usual, there's fucking hundreds. Rubes96 is the one with the first one. Why is Pogba starting? Because Pogba's one of the best footballers in the league, right? And I know a lot of people don't really want to believe this. I know a lot of people are reading far too much into the media, but I've just done a video, literally finished it half an hour ago for Full Time Devils, showing you where Pogba is in all of the stats. Now, I know stats isn't everything. I'm not saying stats is everything, but stats can give you a picture of what a player's doing. Just because he's not winning match-saving tackles, just because he's not scoring match-winning goals and all the rest of it, the hate Pogba's getting is fucking ridiculous, to be honest. That's why he's starting, because he's simply the best outfield player Manchester United have got, and he's the number one central midfielder in the Premier League according to the stats. Now, some people can think Kante is. Kante's not creating the chances that Pogba's creating. Pogba's created 50 chances. 50 chances, 5-0. Now, think if only half of them had been put away, he'd have been on a ridiculous rate of goals. Right, Swap Nil Correa. Could this Lukaku news be Ed's doing, especially after last night's results? Also, fuck the FA and the refs. I completely agree with your assessment there on the referees and the FA. They've been awful this season. They've been worse than awful. They've been terrible, haven't they? If you've not seen it, someone link it once this goes live. Check out a video that I did last summer. I was lucky enough to be sat 10 feet away from Pogba and Raiola and all them lot as the deal was being concluded last summer. Took a bit of a gamble, went down to the Lowry, went and sat in a bar, ordered like really expensive chips and apple juice and shit, and just sat there for a little bit, knowing that Pogba would come in, seen Raiola, the bar staff was trying to throw us off the scent, like, nah, not seen him, mate. And then he comes strolling by with his mum, his brother was in there. And we ended up being sat in there for a few hours, spoke to Lukaku briefly, spoke to Mkhitaryan, spoke to Mino Raiola, and I give Pogba a massive hug, told him I was fucking buzzing that he was signing for Manchester United, and he told me he was as well, and it seemed really genuine. But one thing that happened while I was there is, just because there was something going on, you know, and there's a player sat there, and it was an awkward sort of moment. So just to break the awkwardness, I just thought, just like a little bit of a how you doing sort of thing, saying, I hope you're next to Lukaku. Now, I like Lukaku. I didn't actually definitely mean I hope you're the next guy that Manchester United sign. It was just sort of an acknowledgement that I think you're a fucking cracking player. I'd love to see you in red. But, you know, it's just a throwaway comment to someone when you see him. And it's like saying, oh, how are you? You alright? Yeah. No one goes, well, actually, no, I've had fucking piles. And everyone just says, yeah, don't they? Right? So it was just sort of a throwaway comment to Lukaku. And I can't even explain to you how weird. Instantly, the three of them simultaneously had the same reaction. And the reaction of all of them threw me that I couldn't think of, you know, just having met and spoke to and have a big fucking hug off Paul Pogba. Couldn't think of that. I'm thinking, shit, what have I just seen now with Lukaku? That was really weird. So they're sort of sat in like a bit of a loose triangle, and I'm sat now like making a diamond out of it, and I just said, oh, up you're next, like, and they all instantly started laughing like, ah, and looking around at each other, and it was weird. It's like they'd just been caught out doing something, and I was like, oh, it really threw me back. So if there is something on the cards, Raiola's his agent, think of that for starters. If there is something on the cards with Lukaku and Manchester United, I would put money on it happening, or at least having happened at the very least, back then in the summer, it was absolutely madness. It was really impressive. It was not impressive. It really made a mark on me. Made an impression on me, was what I was trying to say. So I don't know if it's Ed Woodward's doing or it might be Raiola's doing, but this might be the opportunity United need now to move Wayne Rooney on to somewhere he wants to go in Everton and get something back for it in Lukaku. Kean Buckley, thoughts on Michael Oliver last night? Well, luckily I'm not going to get done, am I, like Jose would. It was fucking turd. There's no two ways about it. It was absolutely garbage. It was the Michael Oliver show. It was out of order. It was literally out of order. It was absolutely bang out of order. I don't know. What's people saying the audio's off as well? It is a bit off. I'll give you that. It is a bit off. It's not dropping any frames. I can't work it out, I'm afraid, unfortunately. It might just be my internet here. My internet might be going a bit mad. It definitely is lagging a little. Just going to have to put up with it, I'm afraid. This is the problem with going live, isn't it? You're going to get bugs and errors. Hopefully it'll be sorted for the podcast tomorrow night. Asher Pashas says, choice of Lukaku, Griezmann, Sanchez or Lewandowski. Who would you choose and why? I would be happy taking the scraps of what everyone else has left over for us there. Can you imagine it? You could actually probably play those four together. Sanchez on the left, Griezmann on the right, Lukaku and Lewandowski down the middle. That is a dream strike force. Would it work together? I don't know. Maybe it might not have the chemistry that you would hope for it to work together. But you know what? Any of them players I would take. They're all in a group of players that would massively improve us. I like Sanchez and Lukaku for Premier League proven. I think Lewandowski, doesn't matter where he plays. And Griezmann, physically, he's not the best out of all of those, but I think he is the best finisher in world football. So I'm taking any of them. I'll take any of them in a heartbeat. I think they're all four of them are absolutely fantastic. Hazik IBR, if I could bring one player from United's history to be the jigsaw piece in this team puzzle, who would it be and why? OBS is really slow. Normally this is completely in sync. When I hold this up to the camera there, I've got a monitor over here on the right, and that's out of sync with me. So that might be a reason why everything's out of sync. But I wonder if it's... no, hang on. Let me just close this off. This computer's struggling, that's what it is. Everything's running on it. Let me just try and close something off. See if that helps. Just close something down and see what happens. Hopefully that improves it for everybody then. Because this is a Mac Pro that I'm streaming off. It eats up anything. So for it to be struggling a little bit makes me think something's not right. I use something called Reflector to mirror my screens on other screens that I've got up here. Yeah, the bitrate's really slow. I can see on YouTube now. Give us a second and I'll fix it. Yeah, it's definitely struggling. This might crash. Right, I think that is now better. There's still a bit of a lag over here, but I've closed everything that needed closing off, so hopefully this now catches up a little bit. Hopefully it's nothing too dramatic. Let me just kill this a second, see if it helps. Kill a video. I'm still here, I haven't gone away. I've just killed the video to see if it helps it catch up because it was killing it on the frame rates. Hopefully that's... I've not gone. I'm still here. See, that looks a lot smoother over on what I can see over here now. So I'm hoping... I can't open Finder to find out what's going on. Should have gotten a Windows PC. Fucking hell, you kidding, aren't you? You won't even be able to start the thing up. Right, I'm a lot closer to being in sync anyway over on this side of things. So hopefully it's is it dead over on your side of stuff? Has it died? Right, we figure out what's going on a little bit later on. This is telling me I've got 0.9 frames per second broadcasting instead of 30 frames per second like I normally have. That's fucking rubbish. I can't even stop it and restart it because it'll just kill it if I do. What a nightmare. Right, Michael Marge. Rashford is all acceleration, has the finishing ability of Bebe. Absolutely shite. I have to disagree with you, mate. I really do have to disagree with you. Look at some of the finishes that he had last season. The City one, the West Ham one. This is just, I think you've just got to accept that sometimes he's not going to score every time he comes through. We're not live yet, are we? We're still not live. Still killing it on the frame rates. There's nothing I can do. This is frustrating. I've just got spinny wheel at the moment. Obviously, it was too much juice for it. Just going to take the browser source off. Maybe. Statman Daddy couldn't fix this. You're joking, aren't you? The audio might be fine, but this is a video, so I need the video to be working. If I restart the stream, I'm probably going to lose it. I'm trying to restart OBS, which might mean it goes blank for a minute or two. I can't click anything. It's just completely conked out for us at the moment. Right, while we're messing around, hopefully you can still see me, you guys over here. But my stream is dead on my computer. So, I look like I'm about 20 seconds behind on the stream that I can see down there. And I can't get... Right, I'm still here. Hopefully this is fixing it a little bit. I'm just going to stick this up for a second, try and close off as many windows in the background as I can, and see if that has any sort of effect. This is frustrating. It's never happened this to me before. Yeah, audio's great. So we just do a podcast. Should I go full Adam Boltwood mode for it and just be like, so, hey guys, getting all deep and everything. Right, I'm here. I'm just seeing if everything is working. Can everybody hear me? I think it worked. Hey! I will not be defeated. Fuck technology. Fuck everyone. I'm back. I am back. Right, yeah. This is the Stephen Howson chat room for everyone that's just getting in the comments. Please share it. We've just lost as you can imagine, 90% of the people who was watching. So please give it a share. Smash that like button. We are definitely going to need all of those for everyone to start coming back. This is going to be utter chaos when I re-upload this. One thing I do have to remember to say is this is sponsored by classicfootballshirts.co.uk, and I'm able to give away a prize. So potentially one of these down below, over here, I can give away one of those original retro shirts. So you guys hit the comments once this video goes live, or hit me up on Twitter, click the link below and have a look at some of these shirts. Tell me which one of those shirts would you like me to give away, and whichever one gets the most, I will give it away. So hit the description below, check out Classic Football Shirts. Now let's get on with this fucking Snapchat Q&A finally. It's still lagging. Well, if it's fucking lagging, at least it's on, so whatever. If you tried to send me a Snapchat recently, it was only open for 20 minutes or so while I got all of the snaps in off everyone. So let's crack on with where we was at. We've lost enough time, I think, haven't we? Let's get back to the bottom of everyone's snaps and find them. Right, Michael Lewis 7. Who would I say United's closest challengers are for the Europa League? I think Roma are looking pretty damn good. You can't really look aside from those. I think Ajax have gone through as well, so maybe let's have a look at what Ajax are doing. So I said please share it, please hit that like button, it will help it get found again. Lost a shit ton of people as we lost the stream, as you can imagine. Simo, I don't know what that picture is. Who do I think our best defensive partnership is? I would like to see Rojo and Baye. I've sort of lost a little bit of faith in Smalling of late. Jones is showing that clumsy side. He's not Maldini-esque, is it? I mean, he never has been, but he's not really grown into that sort of shit. So, I would like to see how Baye and Rojo do. It might be too much hot sauce. I mean, they're both absolutely fucking wild, aren't they? So, I think I would like to see how they get on playing together, because I find that really intriguing how they were going to do. Hong Daniel says, fancy Leicester in the last 8. I think Leicester's style of play is perfectly suited, when they're on it at least, to European football. It's aggressive, and not many people on the continent are used to that sort of stuff. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they're able to cope with everything and all the rest of that stuff. Luke PNE11 says, who should we buy in the summer? If Jose's got a plan that he's thinking, because you hear the managers generally have sort of, team formations and team iterations like laid out for the next 3-4 seasons. I hope he's got a plan that he's like, right, if we get this guy, he's first choice, he's going straight into the mixer over there. I'm not bothered who it is as long as Jose gets his first choice. He did excellent in the summer. I can't wait to see what he brings in this summer. Shazmia91, do I think Lukaku will be Zlatan's replacement? Yes. I think he could be, yes. Jack T, why is everyone blaming Pogba for yesterday? He played well. Everyone did. I disagree on that. I don't think many played too well, but we do have to remember there's 2 teams in a game of football. Chelsea are top of the league for a reason. They've been batting teams aside left, right and centre, so going to their home ground with 10 men, without Zlatan, with a few other players missing as well, it was always going to be backs to the wall stuff. As soon as we lost Herrera, the chances of us winning the game really went out the window. I wouldn't say Pogba played well, but he certainly didn't play as bad as people are making out. Gary in Mullyville, Pogba is shite just because he gets an assist against Blackburn and West Brom doesn't make him world class. That's a very ignorant comment, mate. I think he's world class because of the other performances that he's putting in. He's not been great in the bigger games, but his stats alone show you how good this guy is. He's got... Right, was he world class last season when he was in the FIFA Pro 11? You'd have to say he was. His stats are better this season. So, while on the face of things his performances aren't quite at the same level, he's still got the same sort of output. He's still creating the chances, which is his job. The people at the other end aren't putting them away. A Maxwell 00 says... what do I think the future of Timbo? Personally think he should get more game time. Is a loan needed? Yeah, it's the same thing that I said at the start of the season with Rashford. If he's not going to play, he's got to go out on loan. Now, Rashford's played a lot of football, so it's cool. His development is going in the right direction. Timbo's not played a lot of football, but do you know what? If we'd have had him on the bench yesterday, how good an option would he have been? That's someone who has got the work rate, who has got the speed, who has got the tenacity, and can actually play the game. He'd have been a brilliant option off the bench yesterday instead of Fellaini, I think. Connor says, thoughts on Pereira's loan time at Granada. He's the only person that we've sent out on loan, apart from the other Pereira who'd gone out and done really well and been recalled. he's gone out and done really well on loan. He's done fantastic. And he's now put himself in a position where he comes back and be like, so now what? And he gives Jose a decision to make. Azim says, which 3 players would I take from Munich? And I'm enjoying your content. Well, thank you, mate. The 3 players I would take from Munich, Lewandowski straight off. I do like Alaba, but I also like Boateng a little bit as well. I think I'd probably go with Lewandowski, Muller, and Alaba. Edie123 says, if United were relegated to the Championship, would it be a rebuilding process or would they get promoted straight away? You can't really say, because would they get relegated with this team? If you get relegated with this team, you're going to have to assume that you're going to lose 20%, 30% of them, but the remainder would be good enough for you to come straight back up. You have to think of what's the circumstances in which we've gone down. Have we just been point deducted like the way Juventus had? Yeah, we'll be up straight away. As everyone left us and we've got no money and we're almost going bankrupt, then the circumstances are going to be entirely different. I hope Manchester United will turn to our academy and go, right lads, let's see what you got. So it would depend on the circumstances in which he was relegated. But unless the question you're asking is, do we look to rebuild more permanent long-term for the future, or do we just buy in a load of 36-year-olds at the end of their career that are far too good for the Championship, but will come because we're a big club in the Championship, and they will get us back up, but we won't be fully prepared for a new Premier League season, so we inevitably start becoming a yo-yo club, and that's where you get problems, isn't it? I don't know. I think I would rather do it more organically and see how you can get up and stay up and all the rest of that shit. We're back up to 4,500 watching. Thanks, everyone. Please keep sharing. Please keep liking. Honestly, it really makes a difference when people are doing live streams. Thoughts on Lukaku and Rashford strike partnership? That is your big man, small man. Totally different style of football. I think Jose sort of experimented with 4-4-2 last night. I hope he's got an eye on potentially using 4-4-2. The problem is, I don't know how you fit a Marshall, and I don't know how you fit a Mkhitaryan into a 4-4-2, because they're not really the traditional midfield wingers either that we saw maybe in the late 90s for Manchester United. There's a few people saying audio. What's happened? Let me just check. Whoa. Crackling. Is that any better? Hopefully that's a little bit better. Yeah, that sounds like it fixed it. Sweet. Everything's going wrong tonight, innit? Fucking hell. Robbie1872. Rangers or Celtic, and opinions on the Old Firm derby? Neither. Don't really give a fuck about either. It's obviously a massive, massive game, but it's a massive game in a small league. I love the conversation of how would Rangers, obviously not so much now, but how would Celtic do in the Premier League? And I actually think they'd really struggle. In the 90s, Celtic and Rangers both had really, really strong sides, but I think the continual development of the Premier League over the last 20 years and the money that's gone into it in that time has really took the Premier League into a different stratosphere, and the Scottish League would be lucky to be on a par with the likes of the Belgian League at the moment, in all honesty. I think it's really suffered by not having Rangers recently, and Celtic fans would have loved it when it first came out. I am sure that Rangers was getting bankrupt and going and get relegated and all the rest of that sort of stuff. But ultimately, I think it was the worst possible thing for Scottish football when Rangers disappeared for a little bit. Jack Herbert 123, lovely picture. Do I think Ibra could be off to the MLS in the summer? I think there's a slim chance of that. Well, naturally, no, not a slim chance. I think there's a real chance of that. To be honest, I think the contact from the MLS is real. But I do think he wouldn't mind staying here and winning something with United. Shabazz Shah says, have I seen Memphis' halfway line goal? Yeah. Memphis getting regular game time now. He's producing goals. He's producing assists. He's got them confident performance. He really is a confidence player. He needs to know that even if he fucks up, he's going to be in a team next week. And he never had that at Manchester United, so he tried too hard sometimes. I think everything he did was with a desperation in him, and I think sometimes you've got to relax and know, listen, I'm going to be in the team next week, so let's just play, and rather than thinking that he needs to impress and he's got to beat every single time he gets the ball. And I think that was his problem at United. I don't think he ever felt loved or that he had the time in the first team and that, so it's one of those, isn't it? Matt Cardy says, could I explain why Pogba is better than Kante? I always say to my mates at school, Pogba is better, they don't agree. A good explanation, please shut my mate up. Here's the thing, Kante is a specialist register, an anchorman, a defensive midfielder, a blocker, things of that nature. Pogba's more well-rounded. He can do that sort of thing off the ball and does often do defensive duties. He's nowhere near the level of Carrick. He's nowhere near the level of Kante in that particular area. But Pogba can do half a job. And his half a job of defensive work is better than Kante's non-existent attacking play. Now, Kante might have scored the goal yesterday, but he doesn't create. He doesn't really do many passes in that final third. He doesn't switch the play. He doesn't go past people. Pogba's just an all-round better player. And when Jose Mourinho said Pogba was the best player on the pitch today, I actually don't think he meant literally Pogba was the best player, like man of the match, because there was no way that's true. But when he says when he says Pogba was the best player on the pitch, I think he might have just been talking in terms of sheer ability. And if that's the case, I think it's a bit of a toss-up between him and Hazard, but that might have been what he meant. Or he might have just fucking lost his mind. Owen says, could Leicester go further in the UCL if they beat Sevilla? Of course they could. It depends who they get. I don't know how the draw works. I think it's just a complete random draw now, isn't it? It's not preset. So it'd be interesting to see who they get in the next round and how they shape up. But of course they could. Of course they could. Jack Franke says, are Liverpool fans the most delusional in the world? You, my friend, have not met Arsenal fans, have you? Jesus fucking Christ. It's Jarvis says, what's my preferred aftershave? This is mine. I've got a couple of bottles of that, actually. That's Paco Rabanne Million, I think, isn't it? I've got like a load of fucking shelves in the wardrobe, a load of glass shelves. It's mostly for the missus. It's got like this, you open up the double wardrobes and I think it's called a vanity unit. So you have a big mirror and then a load of lights and then these glass shelves. So the missus has got all her makeup and shit down one side. And then I've just got about 7 or 8 aftershave. It's Issey-Miyake, CK1, Hugo Boss, probably Hugo Boss, the original Hugo Boss. What other one do I wear quite a lot? Adventure, Davidoff, in an orange bottle. Wear that one quite a bit. The Issey-Miyake one I wear quite a bit. Or the Hugo Boss standard one with the green webbing sort of and military looking lid. I like that one. I've had that for a long old time. Joey Doggett 889 says, what's the best Old Trafford atmosphere you've experienced and the best away end? Away ends are good regardless of where they are. You can have a good away end at Southampton. You can have a good away at Anfield. It's always good at Anfield because it's a tight ground. You're compact, and obviously it's United and Liverpool, so it's noisy from the off. Like you at the start of the game, you can't even hear them singing that fucking horrible song because United just fucking drown it out with 1,700 of us or whatever there is that we take. The best atmosphere at Old Trafford, the Munich game under Moyes was pretty special. The 7-1 of Roma was pretty special. It's European nights, funny enough. The one where we beat Liverpool in about 2007, when Rio and Scholes scored, I remember thinking, fuck me, that was really on it. Barcelona 2008, that was probably one of the loudest. Roma was nuts because it had gone off outside. So there's always underlying factors to why the atmosphere is good. The atmosphere was actually better in the Moyes season than it had been for like the last 10 under Fergie, because there was such an air of expectancy that you turn up and like, win then, under Fergie, whereas obviously under Moyes the crowd knew that we had to actually fucking put in a shift ourselves. So the atmosphere has been better since Fergie's gone in the last few years. But yeah, I think European nights. I remember Porto, about 97, I think it was 4-0. Did Cantona score? That was fucking bouncing for some reason. We suffered a lot in the early 90s with the new crowd control things. When it became an all-seater stadium, there was this real push to make every fucker sit down, and the stewards was like Nazis at Old Trafford. They would be forcing you to sit down constantly. Where I used to sit in East Lower in K-stand, the fucking stewards was a fucking nightmare, whereas now you get left alone to stand up to do what you want, and they just sort of clear the gangways every 15 minutes. So the atmosphere is a lot better because the stewardings allowed it to be. So there's one of those, I think. Mikey K181 says, all right, Steve, who would I prefer to see next front? Ibra for another year, or Lukaku, or Griezmann? Again, all of those three options I'm happy with. There's not really much preference. I see them all as I'm happy with that sort of thing. There's not a real burning desire. If you'd have said Ashley Young up front or Griezmann, I'd be like, Griezmann, please. But those choices, they're not bad choices. I don't have a preference either way with them. Conor McLeod, what is my favourite Manchester United game I've been to? If you know the story, Barcelona 2008, but I'm not going to repeat the story. Dil Gore says, Valencia as a potential future captain, and who would I drop to play Griezmann in the current system? I think if you got him in the current system, it'd probably be Mata, or it'd be one of the midfielders, because I think you could potentially go 4-2-3-1, Mkhitaryan in the 10, Griezmann on the right, Martial on the left, Ibra up front. So you'd probably be operating with two midfielders and look to be going very attacking. But I think you could go very attacking with those four, because you're looking at four deadly forwards. And Valencia for captain, I love his attitude. I love how down to earth, salt of the earth, just get on with it, graft he is. But the guy doesn't speak English, doesn't look like he talks a lot anyway. So I think a captain needs to be a lot more vocal. And as much as I love Valencia, I don't think he's quite captain material in that sense. Although I do love the guy. Farman Bond. At the moment, Leicester lead Seville. Can they do what Di Matteo did at Chelsea and win the Champions League? It's a fucking tough ask, isn't it? Leicester didn't have that sort of really fluky sort of coming from behind last minute winners that Chelsea seemed to really get a knack of getting that season in the Champions League. Even when they were good last season, they would take the lead and keep the lead. They didn't really have that comeback, fight back sort of thing in them. So I'm going to say no, I don't think they'll win it, but I think they'll get to I think they could get through the next round, in all honesty. But I think they're going to come up against a Madrid or a Munich, and they'll get blown away then. DS Sweeney. Do I think the modern game that players in the academy aren't valued and clubs prefer to spend money instead? Why? Could guarantee that most of our talent at 23s and 18s will never... That's a long old comment. Let me just get that back up. Will never make it as a first team regular. Rashford is rare. Well, if you look at the history of not just our club, but every single club, and it's not even just in the modern game either, to be honest, it's probably a little worse now than it ever was, but it might even be better, because there might be more opportunities for players in squad games than there was when it was just starting 11s. I think there's more opportunities now, but I think you're probably right that clubs are a little bit more reluctant. I think it's because of the money involved in the game. If you look at in the 50s and the 60s and all the rest of that shit, so there was... Wouldn't Matt Busby be afforded the time he was given in the 60s now? And I don't think he would. And should he have been? Fucking right he should have been. The guy built arguably one of the greatest sides to ever play football in England with the Busby Babes. 56, 57, 58. Tragically taken away from him in 58. But he won only an FA Cup between the tragedy and when he eventually won it again 9 years later. Or did we win it in 65? We might have won it in 65. I might have got that wrong. So that wouldn't have been allowed in the modern game, and I think it's a sad indictment, because sometimes, this is Matt Busby we're talking about, it takes a long fucking time for plans to be implemented. You can't, there wasn't even windows back then, so you need several windows to get everybody that you need in, and I think that's the problem in the Premier League at the moment. Is Ranieri getting sacked is a fucking joke. I think Ranieri getting sacked is an absolute disgrace. And that's just an indictment of the sort of culture that we're living in at the moment. And I don't like it. When I was saying, give Van Gaal time, it wasn't because I thought Van Gaal was the greatest manager in the world. I just think every manager deserves a little bit more time than they're getting. Now, there comes a point where you go, that's not enough. And there was a point where I said, enough is enough with Moyes. But I wasn't flying the plane. And I'm not demanding people get sacked, because I won't do that. I'll never do that. I might say, do you know what, it's not working with the guy, but that's it. I think some of the things that the Arsenal fans are doing with the banners is a fucking joke. I think the respect that they've got for the manager that's won them several titles is an absolute disgrace. Someone pulled up a stat for us. Their previous 20 years, they'd won 3 titles, and they've won, is it 4 under Wenger or something along those lines? and they're like, there's progress for you. They might see the sort of fall off we saw after Fergie with a new manager. They might score lucky and bounce straight into someone who's going to do something with them. This talk of Allegri, very good manager, it might work for them. But I think you're probably going to see, actually, when Wenger goes, there's going to be a vacuum of coaching staff, there's going to be a vacuum of scouting, there's going to be all of these problems come up that Wenger's actually keeping a lot of things in the air without really knowing it. The same way Fergie, when Wenger took over in the 90s, Arsenal was a ton smaller than they are now, so his role just grew with it. When he goes, there'll be jobs that... When Fergie left, I said we probably need to bring in 3 people to replace him. Like a director of football we probably need to bring in to replace him. You need a coach, and maybe you need an assistant manager as well, or another sort of assistant manager to do what Sir Alex Ferguson was doing. And I think you might see the same thing with Wenger. I think all these managers just deserve time. And yeah, there was a point, it was actually Piraeus, Olympiacos away with Moyes, where I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. But arguably, some of the players of that night haven't been binned, amazingly. Some of the culprits for what was wrong in that night. Ryan says, Rashford's overall game has improved greatly. He's not been as clinical. Does he just need a confidence boost or more game time? He just needs time to develop, mate. It's as simple as that. He was never this deadly goal scorer, and at the start of the season when I said James Wilson's a better finisher than Rashford and people lost their fucking mind, James Wilson is a better finisher than Marcus Rashford. James Wilson was a player that every level at Manchester United was scoring a goal or more every single game. He is a natural finisher. Now that doesn't mean he's a better player, doesn't mean he's going to have a better career, it doesn't mean anything apart from that. He's a better natural finisher than Marcus Rashford. Rashford gets himself into phenomenal positions because of his intensity and his work rate that James Wilson doesn't get himself into. So if James Wilson had been given the opportunities that Rashford was given last year, would he have scored the same goals? Not necessarily. But he might have finished other chances that Rashford might not have, because he is just a better all-round finisher, left and right foot. I think it's a shame the way his career's gone. He could have been the guy doing what Rashford is doing now if it wasn't for those injuries and for the loan spells that he's had out. But Rashford has taken this opportunity better than anybody. Little over 12 months ago, I saw him lose 5-1 to a Chelsea team which absolutely destroyed our under-18s, and in that team, Gomez came off the bench, Fosu Mensah and Tuan Zabi started in defence, and that team was absolutely ruined by a Chelsea team with Jada Silva and Tammy Abraham in there. It's a brilliant Chelsea side. But what they do as individuals has no bearing on how they did in that game, obviously. As several of them have now graduated to the first team, and one of them everyone's got high hopes of still. I think you've got to take it patient with Rashford. He burst onto the scene and elevated his own expectation. He couldn't go back to the 18s now, he's too old now, but he couldn't go back to the 23s now because he's on a different level, and that's what first team football does to you. That pressure can make or break players, and it can really mould you into a beautiful footballer. That's a critical time from 18, 19 to 20, 21, 22. That's the time when top level players are made, or they are found wanting and they end up bobbling down the leagues to Championship or League One. Rashford's going to stick around in the first team at Manchester United. He might stick around and take that number 9 shirt eventually one day. We're years off finding out. Go and have a look at what Alan Shearer's goals per game was in his first few seasons, where he played every single match. I think he started regular. I think he got 33 games in his first season at 17, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, he got like 1 or 3 goals, and he might have even got no goals in one season. Do you know what? We can't be asking questions like this. Let's get it up. So strikers mature at different ages. Some of them are like original Ronaldo, where they come out the gate and they just blow you away. Some of them take a little bit longer to find their level. Here we go. Alan Shearer, first season, 5 appearances, 3 goals. The next season, 10 appearances, no goals. The next season, 26 appearances, 3 goals. The next season, 36 appearances, 4 goals. Now, you'd have said, that guy's not going to be breaking any records for goal scoring, is he? The next season, he started getting double figures. Then he got 13 in 41. And that's his 5th season. Think about this. Alan Shearer, his 5th season, he only managed 13 goals in 41 games. That's a shit return. The following season, though, with Blackburn, He scored 16 in 21. Then he scored 31 in 40. Then he scored 34 in 42. Then 31 in 35. And then he went on and on and on and on and on. You've got to allow strikers to mature at different ages. And look at that. 5 years, Alan Shearer scored 23 goals. That's fucking garbage return in 5 seasons, isn't it? And then look what he went and did. And he finished his career with 379 goals. But for 5 seasons, he only scored 23. So, be patient. Boondon says, what kind of team do I think Mourinho will use now Ibra and Herrera are suspended for the next 2 games? I would love to see him bring in Fosu Mensah. I think he'll probably just bring in Carrick, and I think you'll see a lot more of Fellaini. Maybe we'll see Schweinsteiger, but I doubt it. Jack Fenton, if I could pick one player to come back and play for United now, who would it have been? Oh shit, this was a question that we got asked earlier, wasn't it? And the stream died on us. So, one player that I've seen previously, I think that was one player from another era to come in and play for United. Let's have a think about this one. What do we think this team needs? I'd love to see a Beckham on the right-hand side, but then that's just been more chances that we're not finishing. Maybe Ruud van Nistelrooy up front to actually finish some of these chances. Yeah, a real goal scorer like Ruud. Obviously, Ronaldo coming back would be fantastic. We could really do with a Paddy Evra, peak Paddy Evra on that left-hand side at the moment. That'd really fucking help us out, wouldn't it? A Rio Ferdinand alongside Bay in defence. Or a Roy Keane to sit in behind Pogba and Herrera and allow him to do his thing. I think any of them would be good, wouldn't they? Kezcal8 says, do I think we could get Griezmann and Romelu? How would it work? I mentioned that earlier. I think you could see, I mentioned Zlatan being up front, but you just bring in Lukaku, you play Griezmann on the right, Marshall on the left, Mkhitaryan behind him, and then you go and win everything. Ali Saudi says, do I see potential for having Ibra, Lukaku and Griezmann all in the same team? I wouldn't expect all of them to be in the same team, to be honest. I think you would probably bring one of those in at least once Ibra has left. Watch out for young Irish centre-back Paddy O'Connor, who's just signed for Leeds from Limerick. Big potential. I'll check him out. Ibi Sajid. That beer's making me burp. When's the next full-time review coming out? It was live this afternoon, mate, at 3:30ish. Matt Pennington. What areas do I think need improving in our squad, and who would I sell? I'd sell Ashley Young. The fact that he works hard means fuck all. His output is terrible. Can't get that one back up. I don't know. There'd be several. I'd probably get rid of Rooney. Probably get rid of Schweinsteiger for wages. It depends on, you need a whole direction that you want the team to move in, and what tactics you want to play, and then you sign players according to that. I think Abdi1997 says, would I fancy Mahrez at United, because we do need a right winger, in my opinion. I do think we probably do need a right winger, more of a traditional winger like Mahrez is, one that dribbles. I would have, but the way they was just shite this year, I don't know. And he's not young either, is he? Jack's H20. Do I think Leicester will progress? Yes, sort of already covered that one, haven't we? So yeah, I think they could do it. It's obviously going to depend who they get. Danny Farran says, what footballers would I like to see in the UFC? Any who've got a genuine love of fighting, to be honest. And that's not necessarily just in the thuggish sense. Obviously, Ibra's black belt in Taekwondo, and I did a bit of research on that at the start of the season, actually, because there was people saying it was only like an honorary black belt. I think he's got a legit black belt and an honorary black belt. I think he was given like an honorary black belt as part of the Italian Taekwondo team when he was based in Italy, but I think he's actually got a black belt before he left Sweden. The guy's 6'5". The agility on him is ridiculous. He'd probably be very light for a heavyweight. Wonder if he could make 205. I think he'd be interesting, at least, if he fought. Wonder if we can get him down to an MMA gym in Manchester while he's here and just hit pads. Same with Pogba, actually, as well, because Pogba looks like he does Taekwondo. If you've seen all the stuff of him hitting the pads in the summer, next time UFC's in Manchester, definitely try and find those two if they're at the fights, because I imagine they will be. Eshhow96 says, do I think Spurs will finish outside of the top 4 now Kane has suffered that injury? I haven't thought about that actually up until now, but I think that's a very real possibility for him. I'm gonna have to see how they replace his goals. I think United are better equipped to go on without Ibra than they are without Kane. So possibly Ben Mack. Pogba criticism completely ludicrous. Icardi, Lukaku, or another to place Zlatan. Rashford's hold-up play not there yet. No, he's not. His hold-up play is not there yet. That is one of the things lacking in his game. I would love to see. Lukaku. I've been a big fan for a long time. Michael Smythe 99 says, "What positions would I put Ibra in among world strikers? For me, he's second best." I don't know about that actually, because I think probably as much as I fucking can't stand the guy, I think you've got to put Suarez in the top few, Lewandowski in the top few, Griezmann possibly in the top few. I don't know if I could say Zlatan was number 2. Is Costa in the top few? I don't know. I don't like ranking people on definites like that. I like to think of groups of players that are, they're shit hot. And, probably in a group of X. I don't think you can be like definite 1, 2, whatever. It's on the day, isn't it? Jack Clems says, would I rather have United? Who would I rather have in United team? Rooney in 2008 season again, or Lukaku right now? I think Rooney in 2008 was fucking class. Rooney for a period of time was a shade under being one of the best in the world. He was fucking force of nature. He was brilliant. Dara MC, Rojo say, how did Rojo get away with a stamp? I didn't see the stamp live actually. I only saw it through tweets and that afterwards, and I'm not sure you can say it was deliberate. I think he sort of tried to guess where Hazard was going to be and ended up standing on him because he guessed wrong. It wasn't malicious. You could see with how light he stood on him. It wasn't a stamp. He stood on him. It was an accident. If he gets charged the same way Mings does, that's a fucking joke. Mr. Loden, do I think we'll win the Europa League? No, I think we'll probably come up short. Humayun17 says, who would I put in my team of the season so far? Pogba in or out? No, I probably wouldn't have him in it. I mean, statistically, yeah, he's absolutely smashing it, but he's not one that you can look back and be like, oh yeah, fucking hell. I'm assuming you mean Premier League team of the season. I don't know. I'd have to have a real good think about that. Conan Kennedy says, do I think Herrera is a bigger miss than Ibra? Not in the games that we're playing, I don't think. The games that he's missing for, but he's certainly going to be missed. Philip Maguire, how long does it take the players to leave the stadium after the game? Does everyone except Rooney give signatures? I don't know. I've never been, so I couldn't tell you. But I imagine. Joe, tweet at Cheeky Sport and ask them lads because they'll be able to tell you. HGibbo02 says, I'm the one you called a Muppet. Don't be a Muppet. The Schmurd, how do I feel United are progressing? How long will Mourinho stay at the club? I think we're progressing quite well. The results aren't there, but performances are, and the tactical fluidity that Mourinho is showing is excellent. How long do I think he will stay? Still worried that he lives in a hotel and he's not bought a house. That worries me. There might be personal reasons for that. They might be waiting for some event in their lives before they buy a house. But this is a guy that's absolutely minted. You're not going to lose money on a house Jose Mourinho buys. He's only going to be buying a house in Hale Barnes or Alderley Edge. I'm sure they don't lose money very often. So I am a little bit worried as why he's not found somewhere to live, but we will see. Jonah Gould says, 3 players I'd sign in the summer. I like the look of Bakayoko as a midfielder. I think we need a centre-half, but I don't know. I'd love Huides, but I don't think you're getting him out of Schalke, unfortunately. And then Lukaku or Griezmann. Johnny Bridge. Do I think the club have given up on the 23s? Yeah, I really do. And it's fucking grim. And they're looking at relegation because of it. If they'd have kept hold of all the under-23s that are at the club at the moment, you would have seen a team of James Wilson, Will Keane up front. You would have seen Pereira and Januzaj on the wings, and we would not be bottom of the league. But for the players' development, it was best for them to go out on loan. Now, if they're going to go out on loan, Why are you not bringing in players? Now, I know for a fact Jose Mourinho said he's not going to sanction the signings of any players that he doesn't see fit for the first team. Cool. That's a good policy to have for the under-23s if you're going to have to spend transfer budget on them. But if that's the case, and I understand Jose's got bigger fish to fry, if the under-23s win the league and Jose does fuck all of the first team, he's not going to be like, hey, guess what? The under-23s did well because the under-23s won the league last year under Louis van Gaal and we still sacked him. So Mourinho's clearly got to concentrate on the first team. He has to concentrate on the first team. And I think he should have delegated it. That's what Nicky Butt's there for. That's what the other under-21s, under-23 coaches are there for. Allow them to just bring in a few lads on trial. Someone who's not necessarily going to be for the first team can help develop these lads. That's what it's there for. It's development. The whole squad isn't coming through into the first team anyway. Sign a couple of lads on free transfer who might be below the standard you're expecting. But if they're a striker, they're going to be a better striker than a midfielder playing up front or a fullback playing up front or a central midfielder playing on the wing that we're doing at the moment. You're not allowing these other lads a fair crack at the whip by playing them out of position. And I know you should have positional fluidity at this age, but when you speak to some of these lads, they haven't got positional fluidity. You speak to the central midfielders, and I thought if you was a central midfielder and you drop into defence, you've got more time. No, they fucking shit themselves. They don't know what to do. You put them up front, and they say, I was fucking scared. I don't know how to play up front. These lads have been specialist positions for 5, 6, 7 years, and when they're playing at the peak of their game at under 23 level at United, that's what you're getting, innit? Ewan Berry says, who would be in my dream team from EPL on current form? And a fucking warped picture of Ben. Ben will be back tomorrow for the podcast. It's not Thursday, obviously, because of Europa League this week. So the podcast is tomorrow. My dream team for the Prem this year, Mane comes to mind. I think he's had a phenomenal season. Probably Kante, Harry Kane on the left. He's had a good season on the left. Hazard at the moment on the left. That's all I can think of really off the top of my head. Miles Campbell with a video.
Do you think the charges from the FA are justified?
Probably. But if we're getting done for failing to control our players, you have to look at the reason why we failed to control our players, and the referee failed to have control of the game. So how about we punish the referee for being a shit referee, and then you don't need to punish the club for losing control of his players because they've lost their minds at your shit fucking decisions. So that'd be a start. I heard John61 says, do I feel like not only us fans but as the neutrals are denied a quality game because the referee trying to grab the headlines? Yes. Yeah. I thought the game was completely fucked once we went down to 10 men. Globo says, name 3 players from teams outside the top 6 I rate highly. Ashley Williams. Everyone knows my feelings on Ashley Williams. I'll skip over Lukaku. We obviously know I like Lukaku. Big fan of Ashley Williams. Let me just have a quick look at I need to have a look at the teams in the table to figure out who the fuck we're on about here. So let's have a gander. Come on, load. Southampton, Van Dijk. There's not really many beyond that I think. There's a couple of decent players at Bournemouth, but I think they need testing at a higher level. I was a big fan of Nathan Ake, who was obviously a Chelsea player before he went back to Chelsea. There's not that much down there, really, to be honest. Swansea's under-23s won the first division yesterday. The under-23 first division, that is. So well done to them. And ex-United player Tyler Reid. Well done, lad. Van Shokhtari 97. I would prefer Lukaku over Griezmann. What about you? I'm taking either if you're offering. Jordan Stockton says, what do I think of the Club World Cup? I think it's alright. I wouldn't mind seeing a World Champions League. Instead of a European Champions League, a World Champions League. Let's get the fucking Chinese clubs in. Let's get the Australian clubs in. Let's get the African clubs in. Let's get them South American clubs in. Instead of drawing fucking Basel or some fuckers from Romania, let's get Argentinian teams in there. How fucking cool would a club world champion, a proper Champions League, World Champions League be? It'd be mint, wouldn't it? You know I'm right. Master League's 95. Who's my favourite player at United at the minute, and how likely are we to get top 4? I think got a half decent chance of getting top 4. Not nailed on. Not not going to happen. My favourite player at the club at United, got a lot of love for Mata. Got a lot of love for Mata. Got a lot of love for Rashford. I got a lot of love for Timbo. One of the funniest comments I ever saw on Full Time Devils was the reason Howson's so gassed up about Fosu Mensah is that I adopted him when he was 4. That is one of my favourite rumours ever. About my adopted son, Fosu Mensah, which I think I'll just even get a picture up real quick. It's going slowly. Let me get it. Can't find it. There it is. There we go. So there's me and my boy. Yeah, I did ask him if he watches Full Time Devils, and he says of course. And I went to shake his hand, and he fucking knocked it out of the way and gave me a big fucking bear hug. Fan of the show. My adopted son, Fosu Mensah. Harrison Earl 7 says, rank these bands: the Beatles, Oasis, Blur, Stone Roses, The Jam. For me, the Beatles are bottom. It's not because of the Liverpool thing. I just never got the Beatles. I quite like The Jam. I quite like Blur at times as well. And I can't really split Oasis and the Stone Roses. They were both fucking class. But yeah, I like a bit of music chat. Let's maybe have a bit more music chat. Che says, do I live near Hough End Gym in Manchester? I think I saw you near there once. That's where I got picked up for the cup final. No, I don't live near there. It was just easy for me to get picked up. Anupthan 3 says, Lukaku or Griezmann next season. I've covered that one. Cal says, do I think De Gea, Valencia... Fucking, I can't read that, mate. So it was a formation thing. Josh Daz... Can we definitely get top 4 and do a seal signing Lukaku? Yes and yes. Dimitri the man. Why are the refs against us, and why are everyone apart from United fan think it was 2 yellows? Because people fucking hate United, mate. That's the top and bottom of it. People hate United and they wanted it to be right, whether it was or not. Zahir said, is there a second part to the character replacement series? Keep up the good work. Thank you. Yes, but I need like a week to do it. It took me 20 hours to do the last one, and it got me pulled for copyright, and I can't risk another copyright strike. It got reinstated because I was right and it was fair use, but when you get pulled for copyright, it affects the algorithm for your subscribers, or subscribers even, and how many views your videos get shown to and stuff like that. So it's a fucking risky game doing it, and it took so long. I can't even tell you how pissed off I was when it got pulled. I was really annoyed. Danny Collins, why do the FA hate United? I don't fucking know. I wish I knew. Jack M says, would I sign Lukaku if Ibra stays one more year? I don't think you're going to get him if Ibra stays. I think it'll be one or the other. What do I think our strongest 11 will be next season? It's hard to say, mate, because what's your strongest 11 against one team might not be a strong 11 against another team. Would you line up against City the same way we lined up against Chelsea last night? I don't think you do, you know. Daniel Larson, will United finish top 4? Yes. That is our best chance. It really is. A lot of people don't agree with that, but it is. If I could take any ex-United player back, who would it be? Motherfuckers, get some original questions. Shit the bed. How many did we have that was exactly the same? Tonight, let's see what you guys in the comments over here are saying. We got a troll in the comments, have we? By the looks of things. Who's the troll in the comments? Because I'll just fucking ban him. How does that sound? Oh, we got a guy here saying shit club. Guess what? You get blocked. Laters. Would I have Coleman at United? I like him in an attacking sense, but I haven't seen enough of him to see what his all-round game is. What do I think of Wilshere to United? I think I would rather lick the bottom of my bin. No. Gabardini has to be on that list. Gabardini's he's doing well so far. Let's just see. Would I rather get Kane or Rojo? What do you mean? Michael Oliver ruined the match, says Tyrone. Oh, that guy. Oh, here we go. Just get out of here. Transfers in the summer. We covered that a little bit, haven't we? Alright, obviously the comments have been fucked up by that troll, but he's blocked now, isn't he? So, any comments that you guys have got, and I'll get reading them out. Do I think that Giggs should have gotten the under-23 job? I wouldn't have minded it, but he does want to be a manager. So, hopefully he becomes a manager. Howson, check out this kid called Yuri Tielemans. Shane, you need to check out my video where I said he was the best talent in European football and got laughed at and got abused in the comments on TFR. I think it was the one where I was on with Statman Dave. I said he was the most talented player in young player in world football, and I think he said it was Dele Alli. Yuri Tielemans is a fucking player. Love the guy. Opinions on Bernardo Silva, looks very good. Do I think we need to improve our midfield? Possibly. Have I tried the Chizzer? I've not tried the Chizzer yet. Do you know what? I might have to see if Ben can grip us one tomorrow. What do I think about Memphis' goal? It was a good goal. He's doing well over there. Buy a new right back for United. Not with the way Valencia's playing. Defoe for an England call-up probably deserves it. Who's the best talent in our youth academy? Tuanzebe in the 23s. And then in the 18s, it's undoubtedly Angel, and we'll see what happens on the back end of that. Where would I like Giggs to go if it could be anywhere? I don't know. I think a decent team in the Championship, somewhere that's going to be not as much pressure as some of the other places there. Right, should we find out what you guys reckon on here anyway? So as I said, if you hit the description below, you can see the link to classic football shirts. Now these are going to give me I should go over here so you can see me. These are going to give me a competition prize to give away. Let's put it over here. I'm in the wrong fucking spot now, aren't I? These are giving me a competition prize to give away. So you guys let me know in the comments, is there any of them shirts, or is there any others on the website? Check them out, have a look, buy some if you fucking want. Is there any of them shirts that you think I should get as a prize to give away? Classic football shirts will give me one of the shirts to give away to you guys. Might be one a month. It might be pretty regular. So they are sponsoring this show now. So, they are sponsoring the Snapchat now. So, if there's a shirt that you guys really want, let us know, and I'll see if they've got it in stock and if I can give it away. So, as I said, wait until the video goes live as a proper video, not like while it's just up here now at the moment, because that's gonna go west big time. And I'll lose all these comments, so let me know. A Cantona one, maybe a Ronaldo one. I've got my eyes on one of them green and gold Cantona ones, to be honest. So let me know, and I will speak to them guys and see what we can get. You can also win £100. I'm giving away £100 tomorrow afternoon just for someone following me on BetBull. So hit that description below as well. Download BetBull if you're on iOS and in the UK. And you can win £100 just for following me on there at Mr. Stephen Howson. The same everywhere you'll find me is at Mr. Stephen Howson. You get a free bet of 20 quid when you deposit 20 quid. And someone tomorrow, someone completely random on air live is just going to be picked at random to win 100 quid. So if you want that to be you, download it. It's totally free. You don't have to even place a bet. Just get on there, follow me, and you win 100 quid. Piece of piss. 20 times in the comments says the 99 shirt is at Regent. No point buying it. These are the proper ones with the Umbro on them and everything. These are original retros that have been brought in varying conditions, but they do tell you on the website whether they've got them in perfect or not. Alex says he wants that Cantona. How much is my season ticket? I think it's 703 or 701, something like that. I'm on Stretford End Tier 2. Is BetBull coming for Android? I believe so, but I don't control it, so I don't know how long it's going to be out there. Chelsea or City fans, who's quieter? City fans, there's not a lot of them, and that's not even taking a mick, it's just the fucking truth. I doubt Neymar will ever reach his full potential. Neymar annoyed the piss out of me in that Barcelona game last week. Do I know where I can get a Scholes 99 shirt, says MD. Hit that link below, I'm sure you're going to find something on there. You can search by players, you can search by eras, so check it out. They've got pre-90s stuff, they've got 80s stuff, they've got the 90s Umbro, they've got all of the Nike stuff, they've got player worn shit as well, so check them out. It's awesome. Do I think Andreas Pereira will be an integral part of the squad next season? Squad, yes. I don't know about first team. How good is Romero to me? I think he's great. Yeah, I think he's great as well, to be honest. Who's the best presenter on Full Time Devils? You're looking at him. Do I rate Neymar? Not massively. Someone in the comments saying the AIG 08 black shirt. That was a low-key banger, that shirt, wasn't it? Most deluded fans in the league. We all know it's already Arsenal. Ran a poll today. Who's better, Kante, Ali and Pogba? People's got 5-second memories, haven't they? That's the top and bottom of it. Griezmann to United confirmed. Let's be honest. No one's shocked, Teddy, when that gets announced in the summer. Best crowd in the Prem. United. I don't know, actually. What do I think of Vardy reaction to the headbutt by Nasri? Haven't seen it, so can't really comment. How good could Marshall be? Very. Sparky Cup Winners' Cup, was that on there? Wasn't on there, was it? No. The white one. Big fan of that shirt as well, myself. Which game this season do I think United performed best? Fucking hell. Don't know. There's not been many, have there? I wanted to analyse tactic, and that is the point of fan channels. Is Jose giving me enough to think about, says Swapnil? Yes. He keeps me guessing. I do like analysing the tactics of teams, and I like trying to analyse the other teams as well, but I don't watch enough of the other teams regularly to really understand their patterns of play as well as I would like. There's just not enough time in the day. I watch between 7 and 10 or 12 games of football. I try and watch 4 or 5 or 6 live games of football. When I mean live, I don't mean when it's on fucking telly. I mean like standing on the sideline of a youth game or a lower league game or something like that. And I haven't been able to do that recently, and I want to get back out there again as much as possible. Want to get some of them foreign trips booked. Been looking all over the place trying to find decent trips that me and Dave can go and do, because I've slipped on that one a little bit. I really want to go and see Marseille, because a certain Mr. Cantona lives in Marseille, and I think if you know what I know, that I know what you lot know, there might be something happening with Mr. Cantona. So I want to try and tie that into a game with Marseille. There's one looking decent. Saint Etienne in the middle of April is one that I've got my eyes on. If I can get a cheap flight, I might just have to fucking drive it. We shall see. Where else in OT would you go other than Stretford End? K-Stand, but that's going to be all sorts of fucked up next season, so I don't know, to be honest. Do I think Tottenham will finish outside the top 4 now with Kane out? I've answered that one earlier. I think there's a very real chance of that. What did I make of the standing section at Celtic Park, and would I like one at Old Trafford? We have a singing section at Old Trafford. It's not safe standing, but every fucker stands up. Most of the people at Old Trafford stand up anyway. Harry says, I swear I've seen you at Stalybridge Celtic. You probably have. Am I from Tameside? I am. If I could go to any United game in the past, what would it be and why? The Barcelona one in 83, my old man went, I didn't go. Was it 83 or was it 84? Around that time. 83, 84, 85, one of those it was. That one, everyone touts as being the best atmosphere ever. I would have loved to have gone and seen the Babes, because there's not enough footage of the Babes. Or one of the ones in the 70s where it was just fucking chaos. Can we play free to back consistently, especially with Bay? I think possibly. Lucky Boy says, do I remember Possebon? I remember the game where Pogatetz fucking broke his leg. Yeah, Possebon was decent. He looked decent in the reserves, and when he got his chance, everyone was like, oh, check this one out. And then, yeah, broke his leg. I think he's played like 11 games of first team football or something like that since. I'm sure he was in the last time I checked, I'm sure he was in like Venezia or something like that in Italia, Serie B or Serie C, something like that. What chance finishing about Liverpool? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know where they're going to finish. They're so inconsistent. Oh, was I a fan of Giuseppe Rossi back in the day? Yeah. We had a sick youth team coming through then. We had with PK and Rossi and Petruzzi, and was that just before Pogba really sort of hit into it? It was, I think it was pre-Pogba. Who else was around at that time? Yeah, that was Giuseppe Rossi was fucking class. I was devoed when he went. Do you think Jose played mind games yesterday by saying there's no fit striker? I don't know if I was being subtle enough when I did the video before the game. Like, I don't think they're not fit, but I knew when everyone was going mad. I knew the night before they were both travelling. Marshall was there. I don't know why he didn't end up on the pitch or end up on the bench. I don't know what the crack was with that. but Martial and Rashford were not ill and were not injured. I know that as a fact. So, yes, it was mind games. To what end? I don't know. Do I expect Martial to play this week? I do. So, don't know. Jose's a fucking stranger anyway. I'm still getting used to him. Lingard to Arsenal. He's just renegotiating his contract. I think that's the top and bottom of it. Used to watch PK play in Hyde. Oh shit, yeah, that was when we used to play at Hyde quite often, wasn't it? And then City bought them and made them change their name from Hyde United, a historical football team, Hyde United, to Hyde FC, painted it all blue, then pulled the fucking plug on them. Wankers. Welbeck. Yeah, Welbeck was in that team, correct, yeah. Fucking great. Anyway, thanks for chatting tonight. This has been fun, everyone. Apart from that whole bit where it went completely tits up in the middle, check out the just downloaded the podcast with Ben's 2009 story. 100% true. Absolutely 100% true. Thanks for watching. Come and join us again tomorrow night for more podcast chat. I was meant to get Adam Boltwood on this evening, but it's a bit late now, isn't it? So I'm going to try and speak to him tomorrow. Got the football special tomorrow afternoon and a podcast tomorrow night, so make sure to keep it locked. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you later.